Even before he made it to the NBA, LaMelo Ball was already making headlines for his family's eccentricities and his absurd playmaking and shot-making skills. Now he's one of the league's rising stars and only continues to get better. Let's take a look at what these NBA legends think of him. Number 9. Magic Johnson. The NBA can be a ruthless environment if you're on your own. That's why it's always important to have some veterans by your side to help you navigate the ups and downs. LaMelo Ball didn't always need that because he was so close to the league because of his older brother Lonzo. And just like it happened with Lonzo, LaMelo made a great impression on Lakers legend Magic Johnson. He can be an MVP candidate someday, said Magic about LaMelo after his first year in the league, shortly after he had said that Lonzo had the highest IQ among all the point guards in the league. If someone knows a thing or two about game-changing point guards and being an MVP, that's definitely Magic Johnson. Clearly, he's a huge fan of the Ball household. Number 8. Reggie Miller. But not all legends seem to feel the same way about the Ball brothers, or at least they haven't always supported LaMelo and company. Reggie Miller, for instance, didn't even think that LaMelo and LiAngelo would ever have a shot at making an NBA roster, all because of their father's controversial remarks and well-documented antics. I hope he's enjoying his European vacation and his sons are enjoying playing over in Lithuania, because those two, in my opinion, have no shot of playing in the NBA. If he continues to open his mouth, all three of those boys are going to be playing overseas because no coach, general manager, or owner is going to want to put up with the dad, Miller said several years ago when LiAngelo and LaMelo were playing professionally in Lithuania. That looks like a terrible take nowadays, but you have to put it in context and look back at the time. The fact is that Reggie Miller wasn't the only person who thought that LeVar Ball's influence was going to hamper his sons' careers. Fortunately, his sons decided to make their own path, and they were just too talented not to make an NBA roster. Number 7. Scottie Pippen. As you may know by now, older players don't always support the younger generation. But great talents like LaMelo Ball are just too good to be ignored or hated on by legends of the game such as Scottie Pippen, who backed his case for being the first overall pick in the 2020 NBA draft. I'm going to be honest, I think it's going to be LaMelo Ball. I really do. I think just because his dad has stayed out of the way, he looks composed. We've watched this young man for the last couple of years. He's a very handsome young man, solid on the basketball court. I think he's going to be the player. I've interviewed with him. He speaks very intelligently. I think he's going to surprise people. I think he has the leadership qualities to go into a team like Minnesota and help bring them to life. I think this young player will be a player that fans and young men and women can follow and love and adapt his style of play, said Pippen. Eventually, it was Anthony Edwards to go first overall, but LaMelo beat him for the Rookie of the Year award even despite missing several weeks with an injury. That's just how good he was. Number 6. Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan seemed to agree with Pippen. He was always pretty high on LaMelo Ball, and though he made some huge mistakes in the draft throughout the years, it seems pretty clear that he finally landed a superstar in the making. I think Melo has adjusted to the NBA game better than any of us ever thought this early in his career. He has exceeded our expectations so far this season, Jordan said midway into Ball's Rookie of the Year season. That's a lot of praise coming from one of the greatest, most influential athletes in the history of mankind. Number 5. Dominique Wilkins. LaMelo made an immediate impact on the league. He showcased his stat sheet stuffing ability from the go, and even becoming the youngest player in NBA history to record a triple-double at just 19 years and 140 days. Ball put on a show against the Atlanta Hawks in front of a former legend of the game like Dominique Wilkins, who couldn't help but shower him in praises after such an impressive performance. It's pretty amazing. I didn't know what type of player he was going to turn out to be. I knew he had some size, he had ball handling ability and passing ability, but he's much, much more. He's a special talent, and at 19 years old, to do what he's done not just tonight, but every night he gets on the floor, he's being a factor out there on the floor. He's a lot better than I ever thought. He's going to be a really, really great player. If he continues the road that he's on now, he's going to change some minds in this league, said Wilkins. Number 4. LeBron James. LaMelo Ball drew some heavy compliments from the most prominent figures in the league as soon as he made his debut. Everybody had plenty of things to say about him when they first saw him live, including LeBron James himself. I think he's damn good for his age, his speed, his quickness, his ability to make shots at all facets. In the paint, floaters, threes. He has a 3-tier already and he's going to only get better. Every game is a learning experience for him. He's going to get better and better as the season goes on, as his career goes on, Him and Lonzo are two unique players in our league, and they showcase that every night, said LeBron after his Lakers faced the Charlotte Hornets. James was already familiar with Melo's game, as he was teammates with his older brother Lonzo before he was traded to the New Orleans Pelicans. He was familiar with his growth and his development and saw firsthand how good he was poised to be. Number 3. Carmelo Anthony. LaMelo was so good early in his career that people started referring to him as Melo. The younger brother Ball also copied Carmelo Anthony's 3 to the dome celebration after knocking down a 3, albeit he said it was more of a tribute. Even so, Anthony's fans took offense in those things and called him out for embracing the Melo name. Carmelo, on the contrary, was honored by the fact that a rising star such as Lamelo Ball wanted to show his respect, and encouraged him to continue going by that name and doing that signature celebration if he wanted to. I think LaMelo is somebody who's going to be in this game for a long time, so the name Melo, you guys might as well continue using that. I don't get into that though. For me, it's a respect thing. It's an honor for him to have that name, for him to embrace it. For him to do the celebration, it's an honor, it's a blessing. It's a respect thing for me. I embrace him, said Anthony after his first game against LaMelo. Number 2. Muggsy Bogues. Even though it's still pretty early in his career, LaMelo Ball has a strong chance of becoming the greatest player in Charlotte Hornets history. Albeit a historical franchise, they haven't found much success in the playoffs. And a generational talent such as Melo could change that once and for all. He already has the endorsement of one of the best players to ever wear that uniform. Recently, Muggsy Bogues lauded his skill set and rare combination of size, court vision, and scoring ability. I'm not surprised, he's gonna have his ups and downs continuously being a rookie, but he got the opportunity to play against professionals last year as a youngster overseas. Having that experience, having that understanding, boosted his ego. I think he relished at the moment. He sees the game from a point guard perspective. He's able to understand where his teammates want the basketball and how they can be successful with it. And at the same time, being able to create opportunities for himself. I kind of compare him to a little Jason Kidd and Penny Hardaway in one package. The vision with J-Kidd, the heightened scoring ability with Penny, said the Hornets legend. Hopefully Melo will stay put in Charlotte and help them develop a winning culture, rather than leaving to play for a big market team as most stars do once they reach their prime. That's why the Hornets need to do a great work of surrounding him with talent and putting him in a position to succeed. Number 1. Charles Barkley. But you know what they say, you can never please everybody. Even if LaMelo has drawn a lot of praise from, well, pretty much everybody around the league, there will always be some who don't seem to like his game. One of those was Charles Barkley, often infamous around younger players for his constant critiques. Back in the day and even before he made it to the NBA, Melo wasn't the exception to that rule, as Chuck blasted him for his lack of defensive commitment. You know, the kid was waiting at half court most of the game, never went back on defense, so I had a problem with it, to be honest with you. Go look at the game. The kid waited at the other end of the court, and just every time the other team shot the ball, they just threw to him at half court or 3/4 of the court. I have a serious problem with that, to be honest with you, said Barkley about a teenager LaMelo after his 92-point game in high school. And even though he's not a defensive force by any means, it's pretty safe to say that he's made great strides in the defensive end, at least when it comes to putting in some effort. He's got the length and intangibles to become a good defender, and both of his brothers are better stoppers than him, so the upside's there. It'll just be a matter of commitment. How long will it take before LaMelo's an all-star or a legit candidate for MVP? Will he reach his prime with the Hornets? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more great NBA content.